Okay, let's get to the next story. Now, the next story is we talked a lot about wolves and wolf packs previously in our podcast history, and it's a subject that some people love, some people hate. Either way, I love this story. California wolf population nearly doubles with 30 new pups in 2024.
It's fascinating news because I actually wrote this giant article in the recent issue of the Active NorCal magazine, where I'm going to mispronounce her name, and I'm so mad at myself. Amarouk Wise, I believe is how you pronounce it, where I spoke with her about, wolves in California, and they're coming back. And I wrote this article before this study came out from the California Department of Fish and Game, that 5 of the 7 wolf packs in California had pups in 2024, which equaled 30 new pups, essentially doubling the state's population to 65. So it went from 35 to 65 in just a year. It's pretty freaking astounding, and I think we're going to continue to see this, because now these pups are going to go off, they're going to meet each other, they're going to form their own packs, and they're going to continue to have new wolf packs. So it's big news for wolves in California.
It'd be fascinating to ask her what the percentage of these pups should survive into adulthood, because it's not 100%, right? Of 30 pups, 75? Do you think will survive?
75%?
I'm asking your opinion. What do you think?
They probably have a pretty good survival rate.
I mean, being in packs, they can protect their young, but there's always disease. There's always things that can occur.
Well, the thing is they, they're not really competing with each other for resources very much. So they do have, for the most part, most of these packs have unlimited resources in terms of food. So I would think that a lot. Now, it's interesting with these pups. Some of these wolves get collared, some do not. So sometimes, wolves go off on solitary movement and they move on their own.
Lone wolves, as I say.
Lone wolf is the known phrase, and some of them could wander up into Oregon. Some of them could go over to Nevada, and so they don't know if they died or if they just simply went off on their own. So it's really hard to track this sort of stuff. But it is fascinating, and I'm not gonna go too much into it, because if you really want to learn about wolves, you got to subscribe to the Active NorCal magazine. We deep dive on it, but wolves actually provide quite a lot of benefits to ecosystem. They are an alpha animal, essentially, which means they control all other populations. So not to go too far on this, but these wolves came back to California through the Yellowstone reintroduction program, where they actually brought wolves from different places, placed them in Yellowstone. And what they found is all the other animals in the ecosystems just completely change and actually thrive in this situation. So deer used to just sit in the field and do whatever they wanted because they didn't have a predator coming after them. So what they found, and I think it was Wisconsin has new wolf populations, what they found is deer stopped getting hit by cars as much because they're faster, they're more alert. Also, it helped the ecosystem where beavers could now thrive. So beavers are now building dams in Yellowstone, and fishing is better. So there's all sorts of different reasons why wolves are good for the environment. Also, wolves just do not attack people as much as you might read in comment sections, which I unfortunately do all the time. It's not dangerous for people. Yes, there are cattle issues and cattle predations.
It's the cattle farmers that don't like the wolves,
which the state is trying to financially compensate them for this type of thing and financially set them up for security against wolves. But really, and this is, I'm open to other opinions on this, but I think this is good news.
No, totally. And, your analogy of how it makes the entire ecosystem better reminded me of, the show Catfish.
Yeah.
How it started with a documentary.
Yeah.
Basically about how a guy got tricked on social media into falling in love with a girl who was not a girl or not the person they said they were. But in the documentary, which was the catalyst of the entire show on MTV, there's a guy that or a girl, I don't even remember exactly, that talks about why it's called catfishing. And I'm totally going to butcher the story, but it's something along the lines of like Chinese fishermen, like salmon fishermen, would be bringing a whole boatload of living salmon to, like, let's say the United States, long journey, and these fish would deteriorate in the journey. But they found that if they threw in a catfish, it would keep them all on their
Oh,
toes, and that those fish would end up in better shape when they got to their destination because they were on high alert. It's the same thing. So I think that that analogy is absolutely spot on. It's true, and I love seeing them back.
yeah. I was wondering where you're going with the MTV's catfish story, but no, it's you think about it in your everyday life where it's like people that motivate you to be better or things that motivate you to be better, whether that's for in a bad way, like yeah, deer are better because they're scared. Yeah, that kind of sucks for the deer, but they're better off for it. They're in better shape. They're living the lives that they were historically living this entire time. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm really uh, looking forward to seeing what the number spikes to in 2025, because if it doubles again, I mean, we're really going to have a full thriving population, and the controversy surrounding them is only going to get crazier.
They will continue to grow, and there will probably be a point in the not too distant future where we have to start to look at slowing down that population growth. But we'll see what transpires.